Okay, so we've made the ground floor of a Tudor dwelling. What we'd like to do now is simply make the upper floor of it, make a second story. Now you'll remember that a Tudor house, the second story, overhangs the first story. But currently you can see there's nothing actually to rest a second story on. These beams don't support or won't support an upper story as they stand. We need to have a long beam running across the top. Now this is where the beauty of components comes in. Perhaps if we'd planned ahead we could have added that beam earlier on in the process, but because each of these is a copy of the original component, it's quite easy to add a beam to each of them in turn. So we'll double click to get inside this component. Then, using a lot of the skills we've already come across, let's select this beam here, and you might notice a few odd things happening with the shadowy components, but don't worry about those now. If we get the move tool and we press shift, we're going to move this up on the blue axis so that it goes up in the air like so. Okay, and you see in all the other shadowy components it's done exactly the same. Now what we're going to do is we're going to rotate this so that it lies flat, and then we'll expand it. So we'll get the rotate tool and we'll rotate it about there, and let's just get this handle be easier over here. I want it to be on the red axis. Click it and rotate, and click again, and now that's in place. Now I just want to make sure that this is, it's just floating a bit. So if I get the move tool, I can just bring that down. Now it's sitting on the wall. Yep, that's nicely aligned. Now I just want to make this bigger. Oh, actually, let's just move it so that it has a nice tidy end there. I want to make it stretch so it goes all the way to the end of the wall. Now to do that we'll need a tool which isn't in the main tool set there, it's in this extra tool set, which if you say view tool palettes you'll see the large tool set, and that's this over here. Now this tool is the scale tool. If I click on that, you get, now you're familiar with resize handles when you work in a 2D package. You know, if you select an image, let's say in a word processor, you get resize handles. Well, these are the same handles, only because it's 3D there's a few more of them. But if we grab that one in the middle and just pull that to the end, there we are, we've just made a long beam. And if we click off that now, we can see that each of the walls now has a beam holding it up, or at the top of it. Great. Now what we want to do is we'll use the scale tool again. So if we select all of that story, and if we press get the move tool and press shift, we can now move an extra story up in the air on the blue axis so it goes vertically straight upwards. Now while it's still selected, remember we said that it has to overhang the floor below. With it still selected, if we get the scale tool and if we just pull that out a little bit there, pull that out a little bit there, and maybe move around. Now don't worry, it appears to be floating, that's okay. We will deal with the floating in a moment. A little bit there, and just get this on the side a bit more, and scale, and pull that one out a little bit there. That's great. Now remember I said it's floating. Let's just have a look. See, there is daylight there between the two floors. Now to solve that problem, what we'll do is we will add a beam to the bottom of the wall construction, and that beam will then overlap the ground floor. So, and this will work wonders for the ground floor walls as well. So if we just come out of here, if we double click to get inside that component, let's just take this one and let's get the move tool, press shift and simply just move that down on the blue axis. Let's make sure we can, yes, we're on the blue axis there, and release, and there we have it. If we click outside, we now, zoom out a bit, we now have a Tudor house with a bit of an overhang or a jetty. There we are. So it's really coming together now, our Tudor house. There we go.